Rhea Ripley, the symbol of rebellion, raw power, and unapologetic individuality in WWE, has always been portrayed as a fearless warrior who backs down from no one. But behind the spotlight and her bold appearances, there are moments WWE would rather keep buried. From unexpected incidents to unscripted chaos and controversial actions, certain situations have made Rhea's image a bit complicated in the public eye. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the moments WWE has tried to hide about the Mami of Judgment Day. One that the live stream WWE wants you to forget. Let's start with a moment WWE would absolutely rather you forget. November 2023, just days before Survivor Series. During a live stream auction called Fanatics Live, an officially licensed event featuring stars like The Miz, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Tyler Breeze, Rhea Ripley did something no one saw coming. As the superstars were autographing memorabilia for fans, Rhea decided to take things to a whole new level. She scribbled on one of the collector cards the words, "Mommy's always on top," and, right below it, added, "I licked here." And yes, exactly what you're thinking happened. She leaned in and actually licked the card. The reaction from the New Day and Tyler Breeze? Shocked, stunned, speechless. But the fans, they lost it. That card, now featuring a very real and visible trace of Rhea Ripley's saliva, ended up selling for a whopping $580 at auction. And Rhea? She hopped on Twitter right after and simply wrote, "I know my fans." Short, bold, and oh so Rhea Ripley, unfiltered, daring, and always ready to grab the spotlight. It was a moment that was both insane and authentic, the kind that defines Rhea Ripley as someone completely unlike anyone else in WWE today. And it's also exactly the kind of moment WWE loves and quietly tries to keep buried. Though Rhea Ripley often appears as an unshakable force and a viral sensation, not every headline-grabbing moment of hers ends in laughter or applause. Back in April 2019, long before Mami became her signature identity, Rhea was still trying to make her mark in NXT UK. At the time, she took part in a bizarre livestream where fans could pay to be insulted. Strange as it sounds, it was a real thing. But during that stream, in an unguarded moment, Rhea crossed a serious line. She hurled a deeply offensive slur at the LGBTQ+ community, saying, "You stupid faggot." The clip spread like wildfire. Outrage exploded across social media. The backlash was immediate and intense. Some even called for WWE to fire her on the spot. To her credit, Rhea didn't hide. The very next day, she publicly apologized, fully admitting her mistake. She called her words unacceptable and acknowledged the pain they caused to many people. WWE, on the other hand, stayed silent. No official statement. No public punishment. The controversy quietly faded from the spotlight, while Rhea's career only continued to rise. It's a moment rarely brought up today, but it remains a sobering reminder. Rhea's boldness and raw personality, the very traits that set her apart, also carry serious risk when left unchecked. 2. The infamous lick that shook WWE. If you blinked during the July 22, 2024 episode of Raw, you might have missed one of the wildest, most drama-packed moments WWE delivered all year. Dominic Mysterio, Rhea Ripley's reluctant lover, stunned the crowd by rejecting Liv Morgan's romantic advance right in the middle of the ring. He flat out told her, "I hate you." Devastated, Liv ran off in tears. Most thought that was the end of the scene, until Rhea Ripley showed up. But instead of offering comfort or flashing her usual icy glare, Rhea did something no one saw coming. She walked up to Dominic and licked his face. A long, deliberate lick across his cheek, live on national TV. Then came a commanding kiss, bold, intense, and impossible to ignore. Social media exploded. From TikTok to Reddit, everyone had something to say. Even veteran commentator Michael Cole looked like he wanted to get up and sprint to the nearest bathroom. WWE didn't miss a beat. They clipped the moment and plastered it across all their official platforms like it was a Royal Rumble shocker. But this wasn't just a wild stunt. It was a power move, a perfectly timed counterattack. Liv tried seduction to manipulate. Rhea responded with dominance, raw, chaotic, and completely unpredictable. Even Eric Bischoff, one of wrestling's most iconic creative minds, chimed in, "Rhea is the future of WWE's women's division." One lick changed everything, reigniting love triangles, stirring faction rivalries, and turning SummerSlam into the hottest topic in wrestling. That's the kind of impact only Rhea Ripley can deliver. 3. The pain WWE tried to hide. But not every moment is wild drama or viral entertainment. Sometimes, it's quiet pain, both physical and emotional. In June 2022, during a fatal four-way match on Raw, Rhea Ripley went for a routine move and took a dropkick from Liv Morgan. It looked ordinary, until disaster struck. As she fell, her leg got caught in the ropes, causing her knee to snap backward, and slammed directly into her own face. The slow-motion replay was brutal. Her head whipped back violently, a tooth snapped, her eyes glazed over. It was clear something was wrong. WWE simply reported a dental injury and said she needed treatment. But the truth ran deeper. Weeks later, Rhea revealed she had suffered a concussion. Not a bruise you can see. A brain injury, invisible but haunting. The kind that lingers. Online critics accused her of faking it or exaggerating. But Rhea didn't stay silent. Her response on Instagram was sharp and unmistakably Rhea. Brain, teeth. You can't see a brain injury. Don't be stupid. She posted a photo of her teeth wired together with metal. That's the essence of Rhea Ripley. Even in recovery, she could set the internet on fire with a single caption. But the consequences were very real. She had to pull out of a championship match against Bianca Belair, one of the biggest opportunities of her career. WWE didn't elaborate. They just said she was medically disqualified. Cold, brief, and it left fans full of questions. Months later, on a podcast, Rhea opened up. She said she felt lost, shaken. Like the path she'd been climbing was suddenly cut off by one freak accident. Success is a high ladder, but one fragile misstep can make it collapse. From a viral lick to a devastating injury that sidelined her rise, the things WWE wants to bury about Rhea Ripley are exactly what make her feel more real, raw, untouchable, and irreplaceable. If you ever thought Rhea was just a scripted character, look again. These moments show the truth. Behind the spotlight, there are shadows, and it takes true courage to walk through them. 4. The stink face that shook the ring. Now let's talk about a moment so absurd, it could only happen at a house show. One of those non-televised WWE events where chaos has no script. In March 2024, during a live event in Springfield, Illinois, Rhea Ripley delivered a full-on stink face to Nia Jax, straight-up Rikishi style. She turned her back and planted her backside right on Nia's face. No stunt double. No camera cuts. Just raw, hilarious audacity. The scene took place during a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship, with Rhea defending her title against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. In the middle of the chaos, Rhea decided to channel the wild spirit of the Attitude Era. She dragged Nia into the corner, turned around, and gave her what may be the most unexpected stink face of the decade. The crowd lost it. Phones were out. Fans were screaming. By morning, the clip had gone viral. The stink face isn't something you expect to see in WWE in 2024. It's a throwback, the kind of act people thought was buried alongside Braun Panties matches and Jerry Lawler shouting, "Puppies." So for a top-tier women's champion to pull it off triggered an online firestorm, and not everyone was laughing. Becky Lynch didn't hold back. In an interview shortly after, she slammed the moment. "It's a shame we even have to talk about this." She argued that moves like that undermined decades of hard work women wrestlers had put in, reducing them to spectacle rather than skill. "If I were a little girl in the crowd and that was what got the biggest reaction," she said, "I wouldn't feel like what I do in the ring matters." Becky even criticized WWE itself for promoting the clip online, saying it sent the wrong message about what female wrestlers need to do to get noticed. And honestly, she had a point. Wrestlers like Becky, Trish Stratus, and Lita fought to change the way women were viewed in wrestling. Rhea's stink face blurred the line between progress and throwback, and not in a way everyone appreciated. But Rhea didn't stay silent. In an interview with Ring the Bell, she clapped back hard. "Shut up." She called out the double standard in the industry. Men do dumb, crude stuff and get cheered. Tiffany Stratton does sexy moves and fans beg for more. But I do a stink face, and suddenly it's a problem. Her final words sealed the moment. "Y'all are just mad I'm famous." She labeled the backlash as selective outrage, and kept it moving. Then Zoe Stark jumped in full heel mode, mocking Rhea and saying the stink face symbolized everything wrong with women's roles in society. Rhea's response? A tweet, plain and simple. Kiss my juicy ass. If that's not a Hall of Fame level comeback, what is? 5. Rhea Ripley and the merch dilemma. Now let's move on to a rather headache-inducing topic in the wrestling world: official merchandise. Specifically, we're talking about WWE's Rhea Ripley branded merch that's been rolled out to the market. It's no secret that when a star reaches the top, WWE goes all in on monetizing their image. From t-shirts, keychains, action figures, trading cards, to wall posters. Some items fly off the shelves. Others, fans take one look and turn away. For Rhea, around 2022 to 2023, there were murmurs backstage suggesting she wasn't exactly thrilled with the products bearing her name. And honestly, looking at some of the stuff that was being sold back then, can you blame her? Rhea's style is unmistakable. Dark gothic vibes, black leather, metal chains, facial piercings, fierce alpha female energy, all wrapped up in her iconic Mami is on top persona. And yet, WWE's merch design team occasionally dropped shirts that looked like they came straight from a family-friendly concert. Instead of capturing that raw, underground edge, they delivered graphics that resembled teen pop band tour posters. Of course, Rhea never openly criticized her own merch. WWE superstars aren't allowed to do that. But she found her own way to send a message. At one point, she half-joked that Cody Rhodes was pissed because she was out selling him. A small comment, but it said two things loud and clear. First, Rhea's merch was doing great. Second, she cared deeply about her personal brand. And that made it all the harder to accept when her products didn't reflect anything about the Mami image she had built so carefully. By mid-2023, rumors swirled that she flat-out rejected a t-shirt design for looking too cartoonish, way too soft and innocent compared to the edgy, gritty image she embodied. The shirt looked like it came from a classroom clip art site. Rhea wanted something fierce, and WWE sent her something better suited for fans of Dora the Explorer. But the ultimate cringe moment? It came in a Logan Paul vlog. During one segment, Logan pitched a shirt idea with the words, "This is my brutality." Sounds intense, but the actual design landed somewhere in the awkward realm of a joke that just didn't land. Rhea's reaction? Not a word. She simply walked over, picked up the shirt, and tossed it straight into the trash. Total silence. But the message? Louder than any speech. And it didn't stop at just t-shirts. Posters, trading cards, action figures, all of them, at times, failed to reflect the image she was working so hard to embody. There was even a poster that reused an old photo of Rhea with long blonde hair, a version of herself she had completely scrapped to be reborn into the persona she owns today. Another trading card had been airbrushed so heavily, fans barely recognized her. Smooth, flawless skin, soft doll-like hair, and a gentle gaze. Some fans even joked it looked like a default character from The Sims. Here's the thing, Rhea knows exactly who she is. She didn't craft this identity just for someone else to redefine it. And if you've followed Rhea long enough, you'll understand one thing. She refuses to be boxed into a watered-down version just to make her more marketable. Not everyone has the guts to say, "I don't need a shirt that just throws some lazy slogan on a black background." But Rhea does. And as her influence grew, so did the weight of her voice. By the end of 2023, fans started noticing changes. Her t-shirts started to actually feel like Rhea, designs that carried her essence. Her action figures started getting the details right: nose ring, lip ring, undercut hairstyle. WWE finally started listening. They realized they weren't just selling a character. They were selling a personality. And that personality couldn't, and wouldn't, be crammed into a cookie-cutter mold. Rhea had made her message loud and clear. If the merch doesn't scream Mami, she's not signing off on it. 6. The unfiltered voice of Rhea Ripley. Speaking of things WWE can't control, let's talk about Rhea Ripley's mouth, specifically her online presence. By mid-2022, as her Mami persona in Judgment Day skyrocketed in popularity, Rhea wasn't just attracting mainstream fans. She also started drawing in some pretty bizarre followers. Crude messages, thirsty comments, and straight-up offensive personal attacks began flooding her socials daily. Normally, WWE expects its talent to keep it professional on social media, polite, in character, and always on brand. But Rhea Ripley, she doesn't play anyone's character but her own. One time, under a selfie she posted, someone left a nasty comment. Rhea's starting to look more and more like a man. And instead of ignoring it or taking the rise above route, Rhea fired back without hesitation. Comments from little cowards like you are what keep me going. Now piss off, bitch boy. That reply spread like wildfire. Twitter exploded. Fans were living for it. No apology. No backpedaling. No PR spin. Just pure, unfiltered Rhea Ripley, fierce, direct, and unapologetically real. Of course, that tweet probably gave WWE's PR team a heart attack. After all, a publicly traded entertainment company doesn't love it when one of its stars calls a user bitch boy, even if the guy totally earned it. But here's the thing, it wasn't impulsive. It wasn't a slip. There was no half-hearted, sorry if you were offended. Rhea refuses to let others, especially keyboard trolls, define her worth. And that's exactly why so many respect her even more. Around the same time, Rhea also began calling out fans who sent disturbing DMs, asking for feet pics, used socks, and other creepy requests that make your skin crawl just reading them. She posted on Twitter, "Y'all need to stop. I'm not sending my worn socks to a bunch of weirdos." That wasn't a vague, sugar-coated message. It was a full-on slap of reality. Her stance was crystal clear. If you wouldn't say it to your mom or your sister, don't say it to me. When one user left a vulgar comment under her gym photo, Rhea hit back with just 4 words. Go touch some grass. No drawn-out argument. No back and forth. Just one mic drop that sent them packing. This is the real Rhea Ripley, not a scripted gimmick, not a polished spokesperson, but a woman who knows exactly where her boundaries are. She doesn't bow for popularity. And she definitely doesn't tolerate disrespect. She doesn't need to speak up to be liked. But when she does, social media listens. And Rhea doesn't just draw the line online, she stands her ground in real life, too. In early 2023, she publicly called out the autograph stalkers, the people who camp at airports at 4 a.m. with dozens of items, trying to force wrestlers into signing. One guy shoved nearly 20 Funko Pops at her, and when she refused, he hurled insults. Rhea didn't stay quiet. She tweeted the entire incident, no filters, no sugarcoating, and, as usual, fans had her back. Rhea's refusal to fake friendliness didn't hurt her image, it sharpened it. The Mami persona became even more fierce, more untouchable. WWE may prefer stars who are polished and easy to manage. But Rhea is different. She doesn't owe anyone likability, especially not those who never gave her respect to begin with. 7. Rhea Ripley, from Judgment Day to real-life love. In mid-2022, Rhea Ripley underwent a stunning transformation when she joined, and eventually co-led, the Judgment Day, a faction rapidly becoming the focal point of Raw. But what most people didn't know was that the group's creation came with a backstage storm of chaos. It all began at WrestleMania Backlash. Edge was crafting a new character, a mysterious leader guiding a dark cult alongside Damian Priest. The message was clear, they would recruit lost souls, the outcasts of the WWE Universe. Rhea fit that vision perfectly. Dressed head to toe in black, with dark hair and a piercing gaze, she looked like the main character in a gothic metal video game. The crowd went wild. It was a landmark moment in her career. But less than 24 hours later, things took a bizarre turn. On the very next Raw, Judgment Day suddenly welcomed Finn Balor, and immediately turned on Edge, ousting him from the very group he created. A shocking betrayal. One day a leader, the next, excommunicated from his own cult. Fans were stunned. But backstage, even more so. Turns out, Edge disagreed with WWE's new creative direction. The company wanted to push Judgment Day into a supernatural realm, glowing eyes, magic powers, thunder effects. But Edge had envisioned a more grounded, psychological darkness rooted in real violence and grit. Unable to align creatively, WWE made the call, and cut Edge from the group. No long talks. According to some sources, he was informed the day of taping. A clean, cold cut, like a blade. For Rhea and Priest, It was whiplash. They had just committed to Edge's original vision, only to have the plan flipped on its head overnight. But instead of panicking, they adapted. They rode the wave, kept the dark energy intact, and turned Judgment Day into something bolder, more rebellious, a unit with no single leader. And through it all, Rhea didn't just stay standing, she started shining. At Clash at the Castle, after Dominic betrayed his own father to join Judgment Day, Rhea took the mic with her signature mischievous smile. Looking straight into the camera, she delivered the now iconic line, "He's not your little boy anymore. I made him a man." Classic Rhea Ripley, never afraid to push the limits. But one person likely didn't find it funny, Buddy Matthews. And that brings us to a part of wrestling WWE loves to pretend doesn't exist, real-life relationships that cross company lines. A love story that's 100% real, but treated by WWE as if it were forbidden. In the wrestling world, dating across promotions isn't unusual. But from a marketing standpoint, it's messy. Rumors about Rhea and Buddy started swirling in 2022. Fans quickly connected the dots: joint gym sessions, cryptic posts, mutual friends. It wasn't long before the guessing stopped. Rhea gradually grew more open. Sometimes joking, "I already have a boyfriend," when fans got too flirty. Other times, outright calling Buddy her boyfriend on live streams. But the true milestone came in August 2023. Rhea posted a photo at the beach, engagement ring in hand, with a simple but powerful caption, 1,000 times yes. Social media erupted. Fans celebrated, friends congratulated. Even USA Network, a WWE broadcast partner, chimed in with a cheeky comment. "Condolences to Dominic Mysterio. This one's gotta hurt." It was a cute joke, but also a reminder that WWE is playing a very delicate game of blending fiction and reality. On TV, Rhea is still Dominic's Mami, flirty, chaotic, and charged with tension. In real life, she's engaged to AEW's Juggernaut. A cross-company romance, told in the most Rhea Ripley way imaginable. Clearly not the kind of relationship WWE wants on their marketing banners. Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews were officially married on June 23, 2024. They're bonded by a love for the gym, a shared obsession with anime, especially Dragon Ball Z, and a hilarious chemistry that shows up in every candid moment. One fan once spotted Rhea at the grocery store. In the background of the photo, Buddy holding a bouquet, scowling like an anime villain guarding his girl from the world. The photo went viral. Later, Buddy admitted he posed like that on purpose, just to mess around. But in the WWE universe, Buddy Matthews simply doesn't exist. And you know why. The on-screen romance between Rhea and Dominic, aka Rheadom, is gold. Mommy and Poppy signs, endless memes, catchphrases, crowd chants, it's a merchandising machine. WWE isn't about to ruin that illusion just because, in real life, Mami married an AEW star. 8. Rhea Ripley's Road to Redemption. Let's rewind to 2020, the Thunderdome era, when WWE shows were held without a live audience. In the middle of that surreal setting came a moment that nearly derailed Rhea Ripley's rise. WrestleMania 36. At the time, Rhea was the reigning NXT Women's Champion, the first from NXT to ever defend a title at WrestleMania. It was a clear sign WWE had big plans for her. She had just defeated Shayna Baszler and looked poised to become Becky Lynch's natural successor. But instead of continuing that momentum, WWE had Charlotte Flair, fresh off her Royal Rumble win, defeat Rhea clean. No interference. No dirty tactics. Just a figure eight and a tap out. The match was good. The result? A gut punch to fans. Backlash came swiftly. Why elevate Rhea only to sacrifice her to Charlotte? The audience was frustrated. Charlotte didn't need the win, while Rhea absolutely did. Shortly after, Rhea vanished from television. Part of it was due to COVID travel restrictions and visa issues. But fans got no explanation. From their view, WWE had just buried NXT's brightest star. And when Rhea returned, no title scenes, no push, just a few throwaway feuds, and some goofy skits with Robert Stone. One year she's headlining WrestleMania. The next, she's background noise. Later, Rhea admitted that loss shook her. She didn't feel like herself anymore, as if all her upward momentum had been crushed just as it was beginning. On paper, WWE had Charlotte win the NXT title to boost ratings in their rivalry with AEW. In reality, it didn't work, and Rhea paid the price. Charlotte was soon back on Raw. Rhea was left to pick up the pieces. Thankfully, WWE eventually made it right. In 2021, Rhea was called up to the main roster, and at WrestleMania 37, she defeated Asuka to win the Raw Women's Championship. No lengthy explanations needed. Just one look in Rhea's eyes told the story. She had just reclaimed everything that had once been taken from her. Still, not every chapter of her title reign was golden. Remember her vague feud with Charlotte? Neither was fully face or heel. The storylines felt unclear, offbeat, like WWE was playing tug-of-war without realizing the rope was basic logic. It wasn't until 2022, when Rhea officially joined the Judgment Day, that everything clicked. Her look transformed, darker, sharper, more intense. But more importantly, she fully embraced her Mami persona. Dominant, powerful, and completely in control. At last, she had found the one thing she had been missing all along: identity. 9. Rhea Ripley, redemption at WrestleMania 39. Then came WrestleMania 39, a stage of destiny. Rhea versus Charlotte 2. No interference. No distractions. Just two elite warriors colliding like twin hurricanes. And this time, Rhea didn't let history repeat itself. She defeated Charlotte, clean, decisive, undeniable. It was a victory that silenced all doubt. Even the commentators brought up her WrestleMania 36 loss, as if to symbolically close the loop that fans had waited years to see resolved. That moment catapulted Rhea straight into superstardom. No longer just a rising star, she was now the centerpiece of WWE's entire women's division. But to reach that mountaintop, she had to fight through 3 years of ups and downs, rebuilds, setbacks, and countless behind-the-scenes struggles no one ever saw. And that's exactly why the so-called Charlotte effect rubbed so many people the wrong way. WWE gambled on the idea that Rhea was strong enough to recover from her WrestleMania 36 defeat. And she was. But it came at the cost of a long, winding road, one that arguably didn't need to exist in the first place, had the company played the long game from the start. By the end of 2023, Rhea sat at the top of the mountain. But with that spotlight came sharper scrutiny, and a darker kind of attention. During an episode of Raw in October, as Rhea confidently made her way to the stage, a fan suddenly jumped the barricade. He charged toward her, maybe to take a selfie, maybe to hug her, or maybe to ask for a spot in Judgment Day. No one knows exactly what he was trying to do. What we do know is that security reacted instantly, tackling and restraining him just feet away from reaching her. The kicker. He was wearing a Dominic Mysterio t-shirt. The internet exploded. And Rhea. She didn't flinch. She didn't look back. She kept walking, eyes forward, presence unshaken. According to one fan who was nearby, she even said to the guy being dragged away, "You're gonna regret this, kid." The moment was never replayed on television. WWE chose silence. But those who witnessed it, and everyone who heard about it, knew exactly what it meant. You don't mess with Mami. 10. Rhea Ripley, the fall after the peak. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be the last time Rhea found herself blindsided by the unexpected. Just days after WrestleMania 40, where she stood tall with the title on her shoulder, her championship reign came crashing down. Not because of a match, but because of a freak accident, involving a wall, and a shoulder injury at quite literally the worst possible time. It happened on the Raw immediately following WrestleMania. What seemed like just another backstage segment turned into the most devastating twist of Rhea Ripley's career to date. Liv Morgan ambushed Rhea, a standard post-Mania move to rekindle rivalries. Liv struck. Rhea answered with her signature cold stare. But when Liv slammed her into a hallway wall, no one expected what happened next. Rhea didn't get back up. She clutched her shoulder, face tight with pain. The cameras quickly cut away, but fans started buzzing. Wait, was that part of the script? Sadly, it wasn't. The medical diagnosis. A grade 3 AC joint separation, a serious shoulder injury where the connection between collarbone and shoulder blade is badly damaged. Initially, WWE treated it like a possible storyline injury, keeping things vague and hoping for the best. But within a week, the truth was unavoidable. Rhea appeared on Raw, arm in a sling, expression ice cold, and made it official. She was forced to vacate her title after a 380-day reign. Fans were stunned. Just days earlier, she had beaten Becky Lynch in one of WrestleMania 40's best matches. She was the face of the entire women's division. And now, everything gone, all because of one backstage segment. The timing couldn't have been worse. Backlash was around the corner. Evolution 2, a long-rumored all-women's event, was reportedly in the works. WWE had to rewrite everything at the exact moment Rhea was at her peak. And the person chosen to replace her? Liv Morgan. Yes, the same Liv Rhea had, kayfabe, injured during a feud in 2023. Now, Liv returned like fate had scripted it. WWE leaned into the irony, with Liv claiming this was karma, the justice Rhea finally deserved. On April 22nd, Liv officially captured the now-vacant Women's Championship. Some fans celebrated Liv's moment. But many couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing, that the spotlight, the title, the stage, it should have been Rhea's. Backstage, there was no real tension. Rhea didn't blame Liv. She understood it was just a freak accident, a bad angle, an unfortunate impact. Ironically, Liv herself had only recently returned from a shoulder injury. WWE chose to keep things quiet. No big announcements about a long absence. No over-dramatized storyline on TV. They did what WWE always does: preserve the mystery, let fans fill in the blanks. Rhea's presence stayed alive through video packages, respectful shout-outs, and hope-filled commentary. And as for Rhea, even with a broken wing, she was still a warrior. She jumped straight into rehab, no complaints. Training daily, cardio, legs, conditioning, all with one good arm. In later interviews, Rhea admitted that realizing she had to step away from the ring was the most brutal part. Not physically, emotionally. She cried. Not because of the pain, but because the journey she'd poured her heart into had been ripped away in an instant. But if Rhea Ripley's career has taught us anything, it's this. She may fall, but she never stays down for long. 11. The return of Rhea Ripley. Summer 2024, Rhea Ripley returned. No grand speech. No over-the-top entrance. She simply walked down that ramp with the same cold stare, the same sharp stride. Like the last 3 months were nothing more than a bad dream she'd just shaken off. She'd been medically cleared to compete. But this wasn't just a return. This was a reclaiming. She was back to take everything that had been taken from her. Rhea's reappearance immediately pulled the women's division back into focus. While Liv Morgan's title reign fizzled out quickly, and Io Sky unexpectedly rose into the spotlight, Rhea's shadow still loomed large over the entire division. In her absence, everything had felt slightly off. One slam into a wall, one dislocated shoulder, and suddenly the entire title picture was thrown into chaos. A domino effect sparked by a single unlucky moment. Sure, WWE carried on, as they always do. Shuffling the roster, rewriting storylines, patching things up behind the curtain, hoping fans wouldn't notice the seams. But the real ones saw it. They knew Rhea wasn't just a champion. She was the heartbeat of the division. And if you want to know what happens next in her journey, hit subscribe to Wrestling Sphere, because this story is far from over.